11:30.
Okay. Oh, Joel, I'm going to send you a request to let me share. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Um, this is the meeting of the Advisory Committee for the Munising Marketplace Project in Munising, Michigan. Present today are members of the Advisory Committee as well as members of the public who have been invited to this event, as well as Ann Giroux, who is a new participant in the call. So why don't we take a second and at least introduce who is on the call. This is a list of everyone that's attended in the past, but let's just introduce everyone who is here and both in present and on the phone. So let's start in present, please. Start with you, Pam.
Okay. Pam Johnson, I'm the Elgin County Treasurer and the Chair of the Elgin County Land Bank.
Joel Vanderbilt, Elgin County Clerk.
Great. And who is in the audience there today?
Rick Nebel, Munising Lands.
All right. And on the phone, let's start with Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy Reynolds, Munising Downtown Development Authority, Greater Munising Bay Partnership, and the Chamber of Commerce.
Wonderful. And Ann?
Ann Giroux, Director of Development and Investment Services for InvestUP, and just listening today.
Glad to have you here. My name is Jill Ferrari. I am co-founder, managing partner of Renovare Development. We are the developer in partnership with Elgin County Land Bank on the project. This is a list, as I said, of all the members of the advisory council, as well as guest contributors who have participated in the past, and we will add you to this list moving forward. Some background slides for the public, for Ann, just a breakdown of why this committee was formed, who the members are, and what our role is. The role of the committee is really to advise the county and the developer on steps moving forward to complete the project that it's known as Munising Marketplace. We also wanted to create an open public forum so that we can generate consensus on the needs of the development, which we have, and the services that will be provided in the ground floor, which we also have. These are a list of the meetings that we've held to date. Today is listed, and I'm hoping at the end of this meeting, we will set the dates, at least for the next couple of months, just to manage travel plans for everybody. And it gets very busy in the summer, as everyone knows. These were the priorities that had been discussed last year through this process. We looked at data regarding who lives in Munising, who works in Munising, and made some decisions that the workforce population is really who needs to be served by this project. That drives the income targeting and the rents that we'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. And we talked at great length about the commercial. There were a few opportunities for national retail chains or quick food service operators, and that was really not something that this advisory committee really came to consensus on, but they did come to consensus on childcare and the market. We also talked about workforce center, where that provided for co-working or just business center space and training space, that was desired but not essential for the project. Please stop me with questions as I'm going along, so this is interactive. These were the goals that were set by the advisory committee and discussed at each meeting. You can see where we are in the process. And just to give some background to Anne, who may not know the full story, we had a full financing package put together for this project in the winter of 2023. And we missed out on some gap financing that we were hoping to get from MEDC, who had a lot of projects at the time to fund. And we were unable to secure the gap for this project. And unfortunately, right around that time, the federal statute changed for new market tax credit, which was the key driving financial mechanism for the project. We had an investor signed and local community development entities on board, not local, actually, they were regional. And the federal statute changed, making this census tract in Munising ineligible for that program moving forward. So this committee was formed to really help restructure the project and help move us forward with a different financing mechanism. And we've done all of those things, as you can see, to date, including the last accomplishment, which was finding a strategic partner that could really help us raise this project in priority level with the state of Michigan. We were struggling to get the ear of any agencies outside of the state land bank and MISHDA, and really needed a partner who we thought could get us to those tables and be a champion for the project moving forward. Our next steps are to work with that strategic partner to update the entitlements. We don't have a lot of work to do there. The project is already site plan approved. We just have some adjustments because we've changed the size of the building, including the size of the commercial on the ground floor and parking. So that will be part of the next steps. We'll probably be going through the PUD process for that later this summer, early fall. And our strategic partner is leading the way on lobbying for gap financing. We are shooting for large grants through the enhancement grant program, anything that MEDC is currently offering to fill the gap on this project as it currently stands. And then we're really hoping to close on this project by the end of the year, because that is the end of our site control with Munising Lands. If we extend, we need to extend by the end of this month. But if we do, it'll give us to December 30th. And I can slow down if I need to. Please let me know. Uh-oh. There we go. My buttons weren't working.
Jill, does the strategic partner, the tribe, does that give you? I'm confused to what they're going to do for you. Are they able to have a different voice than what you have to get different grants?
Yes. The Sioux tribe has a different relationship with the state of Michigan, including some specific requirements that exist between the tribe and the state of Michigan to work together. And they have in-house lobbying resources and capacity. And really, Rick, it just resets who this project is. You know, the tribe is a large employer in the Upper Peninsula. This whole project is about workforce housing. The tribe has an office in Munising that houses 40 employees. So they are repositioning themselves as an employer voice in the economic development ecosystem, especially with the state of Michigan. So them coming in and really driving those conversations, it just changes the face of the project and helps us move forward and secure those. And they also have access to different funding that we don't.
Did they approach you or you approach them?
I approach them.
Okay. Thank you.
These are some of the proposed project modifications that we've made over time. We've changed the budget to just under 15 million. We're at roughly 14.4 right now, 14.3. We've reduced the size of the commercial space. However, that's changing as we are trying to meet the priorities of the county and everyone involved. It looks like that commercial space will now include 3 occupants, the childcare, the market, as well as a co-working space through an international provider. So we were thinking about, it's a 3-story building, only filling a portion of the ground floor and having covered parking under a piece. But at this point, it looks like we're going to fill the entire ground floor with commercial users that meet the priorities of this advisory council as we move forward. And it helps the deal perform the best that it can. This was, and I apologize, this is not completely updated. I don't have a new floor plan, but it looks like we will be filling this entire ground floor space to the building lot line, right? Which is that dotted line right there. And the market will drop to 4,000 square feet, which is what we originally planned. And the other space will be about 4,000 as well. So this whole ground floor will be filled. These are just breakdowns of the 32 units. When we first started the project, we were at 39, and now the design includes 32, and they're all 1s and 2 bedrooms. There are no studios left because of the financial mechanisms that we're going to be working with, and I will talk about those shortly. So this is a lot of information, but definitely want to go, oh, no. Hopefully you guys can't. All right, there we go. These were data points that we pulled last year as part of the advisory committee process. Since the time this data was originally pulled last year, new rent limits were published on April 1st. I've updated those on this slide, which is the top chart, as well as the next slide, which is the rents that we have incorporated into our pro forma moving forward. But as you can see, the market study back in 2023 had fairly high market rents, as possible rents. However, there, as Kathy will tell you, I'm sure there's not a lot of comparables up here. It's really difficult to drive market data or derive market data because there's not a lot of units on the market. So we really had to dig into what the need was. And the DDA, who we've met with multiple occasions, set some rents for us, or we talked about rents that were on the low to middle range. And these were really to reflect the currently available rents and the workforce. But they were very much on the low to middle end based on the numbers that they provided. The market study will have to be redone this summer. Happy to share that data as part of the financing process. So happy to share that data as soon as we get it. And Kathy may work with you to make sure that the market study service providers are getting the right data and really tapping into local resources to make sure this market study is as accurate as it should be. You know?
Yeah, typically when they come to town, and this has happened before with other housing studies, they end up not even stopping in town or talking to us.
Right.
So that's in the problem. And we have several people that are landlords, and there are apartment complexes, and there are many other rentals that we could give them some data for, or have them talk to some people to give them a much better realistic viewpoint on how different they are than they are from, for example, Marquette. Yeah.
Yes, understood. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
So this is the current rent mix based on the HUD standards that were published in April. This is where we would be, and this is rent, the utility allowance is included in this. So the contract rent will be lower and the utility allowance will be within this, this number. And I don't have that number right on top of my head, but I believe for 1-bedroom units, it's below 100 for utility allowance, and for 2 beds, it's well above 100. But I will get you those numbers. I don't have those off the top of my head. And let me know if that's confusing and if I need to slow down. Okay. Our timeline proposed for the rest of the year is outlined in this table. The activities that we're going to be working on, when we expect to have these activities completed, and when we, the steps that are required to get to closing. And I've added everything in here that I know of, if there are other local steps. And the line item related to amending the transformational brownfield plan, of course, will have multiple steps we'll need to go to the DDA, we'll need to go to the city, and we'll need to go to the county. So I just set some timelines over August, September, and October. We are currently, as I've said, and you all know, we have secured a memorandum of understanding with the Sioux tribe. They have launched their political machine. They are putting out a press release about their partnership. We'll make sure, Pam, that you get a copy of that where it stands. And I think it would be great to get a quote from Alger County or the land bank. So we will make sure to loop you into that process. We are scheduling, the tribe is actually taking the lead on meeting with the local representatives in the area to let them know about the history of the project and the steps that are required to get this done. After that meeting is held, then we will have a large multi-agency meeting that the tribe will also schedule that will include MISTA, MEDC, the State Land Bank, us, the county, and anyone else from the advisory committee that is interested in attending to help push this forward. That will happen over the next 45 days as we, depending on scheduling and summer months. We're also working right now to extend the pre-development loans that have been issued by the State Land Bank. That process is underway. The State Land Bank has their board meeting, I believe it's today, to approve the extension. And hopefully we'll get word back on that and finalize those extension agreements. And the other thing we're launching is the equity raise for the project. We had waited to, pull a partner in and try to determine as much gap as possible, but we can't wait anymore. We really need to allow the public to have an opportunity to invest and get this raise out publicly so that we can really start generating some momentum for the project and start raising that equity. Let me know if there's any questions about the dates or the line items here.
How much equity do you need to raise?
So there are two pieces, Rick. There's an equity component in the Munising Marketplace pro forma, which is roughly, I think, $1.3 million right now, depending on the commercial revenue that comes in. It may drive that up or down. And then there is the equity for the fire hall. Please, remember these two projects are linked because we need the fire hall in order to make the Munising Marketplace project eligible for the transformational brownfield program. So they are still linked. We are still moving forward, but those two raises will be launched at the same time, but they will be separate. Any questions?
When you said you had to go back to the DDA, has it, obviously there's been a lot of iterations of this. Has that changed materially from when they said yes before, months ago? Has the project changed?
Oh, no, the only change in the project over the last, I'd say 12 months is the changes that we've outlined here, dropping the size down, the number of units, the commercial on the ground floor, which we've talked repeatedly about with this committee. Whether those changes have been, presented to the DDA, I don't think that's happened yet. So that needs to happen. But the DDA will have to approve changes to the transformational brownfield plan. And those numbers are going to change because we will be asking for a pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes on the residential portion in order to support the low-income housing tax credit that we're seeking to finance those rental apartments. So information is changing in the brownfield plan, and that is what has to go to the local unit of government, the DDA, and to the county. We have to go all the way back through the process that we went through in 2023.
Yep, you got to go. Yeah, we'll be going back through the same thing the DDA will as before. The numbers will be different, so they'll have to do, all those different public meetings again and yada, 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 and all that stuff. So, because it'll be a different set of numbers, different payback schedule, I'm sure, Jill, and all that type of thing, right?
Right. Yes,
Yep.
because there will be different commercial, as you remember, the transformational program captures property taxes, income taxes, withholding taxes, and there is a waiver on construction taxes. So it will change all of the numbers that were in the transformational brownfield plan. Right now, just so you know, and I'm happy to share some preliminary estimates, the total capture over the period that we had discussed previously, I believe is 1.4 million. That is the number that MEDC has been working with for total capture.
You're saying do you remember how much it was before on the first round, first time we did it?
I knew you were going to ask me that as soon as the words came out of my mouth. I don't, Kathy, but happy to.
I mean, I can look it up, but okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
Right. I don't think it was much higher. I think it was in the low twos, but I would need to check for sure.
Now, in regards, let me ask you real quick. You're talking about payment in lieu of taxes, or PILT, as some people refer to. Do you have to go to the city first on that one? I think you got to go to the city first and set that up, right? Okay.
Yeah,
and then
so
that's a public meeting and all that stuff, right?
Yes, because that's an ordinance. So that has to be done through local ordinance and yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I was thinking, yeah.
So I just kind of went through these, but just wanted to show you what we were doing this month and next. I will say that executing the MOU with the partner, I do think it's a critical point right now. We haven't made a lot of traction as a group to attract higher level support for the project with the governor's office and with other state agencies, aside from MISTA and the State Land Bank, who have been incredibly supportive. It took us a little bit longer than we had expected, but we're here. And so now it seems, the tribe is very much engaged and willing to move full steam ahead. So I think that we will see activities speed up over this month and next. And I'm hoping that after we do all of these things that are listed, that we have a solid financing plan by the end of the summer to move forward and start that closing process. So yeah, this is everything that we need to do over June and July. And then just some steps for the advisory committee. One, I definitely want to set some meeting dates for summer and fall, like I had mentioned previously, just to get this on everyone's calendar and encourage attendance. Even though everyone's traveling, we could set those dates more than 30 days out. It might help to get more attendance. And then just to, have Pam drive us to let us know, are there any local meeting presentations in July and August that you'd like us to attend, or any other outreach, even with the tribe, that needs to be done over the summer so that we can plan for that?
I can't think of any, Jill. I think we have to just do our regular, this meeting is pretty much the important one. Because it should, for everybody from the DDA to the city, to the county, to land bank, the state, everybody, this kind of a meeting is most important.
Okay, and then we would start the local meetings when we're ready for the revised brownfield plan and the pilot, as Kathy noted, and anything else, and for the site plan approval. And we will, of course, let the committee know when those are set. That is the end of my presentation. And I have shared this with the county. So however, you've already emailed this out to everybody. So if you want to take a deeper look and ask questions, please let me know.
Your questions? Questions?
Not in this format. I have to do like a one-on-one. Yeah,
Okay, she said you could hear though if you want to do a
it
one-on-one.
would be more like I send her a Zoom link and I do a Zoom one.
Oh, okay, all right.
Did you hear that? TV6.
I did not.
The TV6 was talking about sending you a Zoom link and doing a one-on-one afterwards.
Sure, of course.
I'm from 19. I'd love to do that as well. Definitely interviews are better if they're kind of in a one-on-one format,
Okay.
Two different ones? I'm not sure how far she can get back there.
Jill, that
Oh,
would be.
that's fine. Yeah, if you guys could share my email address with them, we can set up the Zoom link so I can get it on my calendar.
Okay.
Jim or Joe, do you have any thoughts, questions, or any discussion you want to have?
Not not specifically, sorry. We do have a board meeting this afternoon at 2. I expect there'll be a extension on the loan that's been provided from us, and just what we can do to support the project. So we will know, end of day to day, we'll verify that that extension's been granted. So I don't anticipate any issues on my end at the board, but if something changes, we'll certainly let you know. But we're observing and happy to support as necessary.
Thank you. And I will share, if it's all right with the advisory committee, I will share the capital stack with you. As you all probably know, we've been working with Ann on our Marquette Township project. Having you look at this is invaluable. Right now, I don't see places for the programs that InvestUP has just because of the financing structure, but having you there just means more creativity. So really, if you'd be open to looking at the capital stack and kind of any thoughts you have on how InvestUP can participate, that would be really helpful.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
All right. Can we set some meeting dates or look to some proposed meeting dates, Joel, over the next couple of months?
Absolutely. We want to stick with the Wednesdays.
That sounds.
Do we want to keep it on Brownfield Land Bank days? Third Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it's too difficult to try to have it the same week as DDA Land Bank because they're on different weeks, right? The DDA is probably July 9th. Is that right?
Nope, we're all third Wednesday. No, we're
Oh,
today.
great.
We were today. We were this morning.
Okay.
So it's a good day because everybody's around, It's not a bad day. Yeah.
Okay. So that would mean July 16th.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Same time, same channel.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
That is to me. I mean, I don't know about anybody else.
I think it works here for us also.
Yeah. And the same thing probably August too, if that's what you're, thinking of, Jill,
So that would be the 1, 2, 3, that'd be the 20th. Third Wednesday, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. And planning this far out helps me do my best to be there in person. As you know, it's getting a little tough to get hotel rooms and stuff up there, but I'd like
Well,
to
July and
come in
August
person.
are always, but once you get to September, you're not gonna have that problem.
Yeah. Well, even if I can get a room in Marquette, just to be there in person would be nice. And then September, it would be the 17th. Does that look
Yep.
right? 11:30?
Yep. 17. Yep.
Joel, can you set up meeting notices for those and send them out to the entire group?
Yes. So I don't repeat
That would
the
be
same.
great.
Do you want Zoom invites sent out all at once now, or do you want calendar invites and then send out a Zoom link shortly before the meeting?
Let's do the latter.
All right. Cool.
Oh, don't do the Zoom invites right now, you said?
It hasn't
Because
sound-
then people are gonna have two things on their calendar. Just
Oh,
as a
no.
FYI, you know what I mean? When you click OK, then you get it on your calendar. Then you click OK again, then you get the other one on your calendar.
I don't
just
have a
saying.
problem with putting a Zoom link now, at least, and then it would be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing that I do want to reiterate, just so everyone's clear on the tribe, we've signed an MOU we are not going to bring the Sioux into the entity until we get closer to closing or potentially at closing, because we have loans, we have a history with the entity, and we want to make sure that we have secured all the financing, we're moving forward before we actually change the entity. So that will require some modifications to the operating agreement, Pam, which we will coordinate with you. I think that's it.
To be clear for me, is the tribe's coming in with just the contacts with $0?
Correct. They're coming in using their connections, their political advocacy, and their position actually helps us score better for the tax credit program, Rick. It's very competitive up there to score and to get the approvals that we need, and their incorporation into the entity helps us score better. So they're bringing value, they're just not bringing equity.
Thank you.
All right, if you can share my email address with the TV stations, I'd be happy to set up separate Zooms.
Will do.
All right.
So I would have to just drive back to Marquette, so it probably wouldn't be until like 2, give or take.
I 2 won't work for me, but email me and we'll try to figure it. I have a closing call at 1 and another call at 2. I'm actually in Empire right now, consulting for the village. So it's a little bit of a crazy day, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we can certainly work on a time. And would Kathy be available to talk as well?
Kathy Reynolds.
Yeah.
Kathy, would you be available? She's on.
You're muted.
I'm pretty much booked up the rest of the day with meetings. I am like slammed today. I've been slammed since 8. And I've got them the rest of the day today.
Are you trying to get this done today for tonight, or is it possible to do these in the morning?
I've got meetings all day tomorrow. Is a bad day
Oh.
for me too. Yeah, just today and tomorrow are just terrible for me. Unless it's at night, like at 8 o'clock or so. Just kidding.
Not for me as a reporter, as I've tried to explain prior, our deadlines are today. Like news is very right now. It's not the newspaper. TV's right now. So yeah, today is my deadline for.
Let's try. How about 2:30? Would that work? I'm hoping my meeting at 2 will be short.
Absolutely, and I would only need like 5 minutes of your time.
Okay. Send me an email so we can connect. If that meeting is running over, I might need to push you back a couple minutes, but if we have each other's contact, I can do that.
Yep, that works. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Shannon or Jill. Both of you.
Thanks. We'll see you.
Okay.